We're about to dive into our very first interview of our interview series. Now, these interviews might be more than a minute out of respect to the interviewee, but we promise it'll be worth it, and let's drop that beat. Today we are interviewing Emmy award-winning DP, director, editor, producer Jake Loskutoff, who has worked for such places as Fox Sports, NFL, Showtime, Fuse TV, just to name a few. He has an incredible resume. He also is our main shooter for all of our stuff at Rantze Raves. And he also happens to be my husband. So without any further ado, Jake,
Whoa! Hi guys.
Hey babe.
Hi.
Thanks for coming.
Yep. Thanks for having me at the Rave Cave.
You're welcome. Do you realize that you're my first interview?
I do.
I'm so nervous. You do know? Yeah. Because you're my husband.
Because you told me that earlier.
All right, without any further ado, guys, I totally have note cards because I haven't done this before. So we're winging it. Stick with us. Here we go. Okay. Can you quickly give us a breakdown of your background, how you got into production?
Well, I grew up in... No, I'm just kidding. I went to school in Colorado, got an internship in New York, followed that up with a job out in New York.
In production?
In production. Okay. We moved back to the West Coast.
Yeah.
Started working out here. However many years that's been.
That's crazy. So when you moved to LA, I think this is really interesting. When we moved, it took you a long time to get a job in production out here. Mm-hmm. How long did that take?
I think it took 6 months of absolutely no work until my first hit, and that was on camera. And then it took another like 6 months after that to be doing what I love doing.
I remember a lot of video game playing.
I got really good at video games. Yeah.
He thought that was the end of the world. But this gives you hope, guys, because he could not get a job. When you're moving to a place like LA or New York, it takes a minute to meet people.
I thought my New York resume was on point, and it apparently wasn't.
I think it's just connections.
Yeah.
Yeah, you agree.
Next.
Oh, next. Okay, next. I love hearing about what other jobs people had before they found their passion. Mm-hmm. What other jobs did you have before you got into production?
Okay, in high school, I worked at an after-school daycare center.
Okay.
In college, I was an electrician for a summer. I worked at Red Robin for a point.
I definitely remember that one.
I had a band. Played volleyball for the school.
So it took... were you ever at any point in your life thinking, like, I want to do production, I want to be a shooter?
I had a passion for photography.
Okay.
In college, when I was interning in New York, I fell in love with shooting video instead of stills.
Okay.
Got a video camera. Loved music, so my first gig was working in music television.
So you kind of had an idea, you just didn't know exactly what avenue.
Right.
And now you're mainly in sports.
Sports.
And music. If it
a little
comes
bit of
up.
music and whatever Rantze Raves, wherever they throw me.
Which is everywhere.
Everywhere.
You love it though.
Yep.
Yep, it's your favorite. Okay, next question.
Next.
You toured with Warped Tour.
Uh-huh.
And on that shoot, you really had to learn, not a shoot, it was a whole summer, basically, you were on tour with them.
Not basically.
That was when you really got into shooting, and that's really when you learned kind of run and gun style, which run and gun style means you basically pick up your camera and run and just shoot whatever you can shoot, and then that's it.
Yeah.
There's no plan, there's a little
bit of
schedule.
Planning. There's a little bit of that, but you have to be ready to roll with whatever comes your way.
Right,
yeah.
And how do you think that's helped you, or has it helped you, in production now?
Yeah, now there's this awful term called a predator that's out there, and it's producer, shooter, editor.
I've also heard shredditor.
I like that better. I've never heard that one.
I kind of want to get a t-shirt that says shredditor, shooter, producer, editor.
Okay, so yeah.
But I think I'd be a nerd.
So being a shredditor, I think that whole run and gun helped me get there because I was able to shoot and produce on the fly.
Yeah.
Would bring the stuff back and edit. But there's curveballs that come your way and you have to be ready for them. So now when I'm on set, if I'm on set, getting those curveballs, I can knock them out of the park. Right. And if it's something where it's not on set, if I'm working a sporting event, I can get from A to B quickly with the camera ready to roll as soon as I get there.
Right.
Do whatever needs to be done.
Okay. So you think, to summarize, you think that it has just helped you, you're ready for anything on set?
Not anything, but I would like to think that I'm ready for most things.
Right.
Yeah.
When a curveball happens, you don't lose your mind because you're like,
that's the thing.
I got it.
You don't know what's going to come your way. So
right.
Instead of losing your mind and the whole team goes downhill, I'm used to now losing my mind internally and then figuring out how to fix it.
Acting like it's totally fine and just hitting. That's good. That's great advice. Because things go wrong every shoot I've had, and I'm the kind of person that plans everything to the minute, which he
No cards.
which he loves. So when things go wrong, I still have the thing where I'm like, okay, we can fix this, it's fine. But internally, yeah, you lose it.
Yep.
Yeah. Okay. Moving on. Our audience mainly is figuring out how to create content on their own. So do you have any advice for kind of an economical as well as accessible way for them to start shooting content themselves or creating content?
Creating content, I think you should just follow what you like. If you really enjoy sunsets, go start shooting a whole bunch of sunsets. You don't need fancy gear. You can go use your phone. You can use whatever.
Yeah.
And yeah, follow your passion, and then you'll get into the groove.
And the phone, that's a really good point, because the phone's kind of an all-in-one. That's a good place to start.
For starting off.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I mean, if you're just starting, just start shooting something, and you'll be surprised how much your creativity just wakes up.
Yeah, you need to experience it to be able to learn what groove you like and what kind of stuff you like. So if you can experience it on a cheap phone, that aren't those cheap anymore, then that's a good way to do it, because then you're not buying a $8,000 camera.
Right. Right. Before you commit to an $8,000 camera.
Right.
Definitely.
And that's on the low end.
Yeah. Okay. Next question. Oh, we finished a card. Pa! Oh, it came back. Okay. So what do you think is next for video content? Where do you think we're headed? Things are changing so rapidly. Sometimes I feel like I can't keep up.
In terms of content? In terms of technology?
Both. Let's start with technology.
Technology, I mean, we made the huge step way back when to go from 4:3 standard def to 16:9 HD. I think now we've gone to 4K. Cameras now have 12K. I mean, 8K is common, 12K is coming out.
Yeah.
I think that's just going to be the way it goes, is that
just higher quality.
Higher quality, smaller files, better compressions where it's uncompressed or raw, but it's still small.
Right.
I think that's
and
where
video content, do you, with some of your clients, I know you work with some clients like Tone It Up, who I love the Tone It Up girls, and they are so amazing.
Yep.
Do you guys ever have to shoot anything in vertical mode? Because a lot of stuff is going Snapchat, Insta Stories.
Right. So there's two ways of thinking about this. You can either shoot it normal and you're going to have wings, and that way you don't need two cameras, or you're actually taking a camera and flipping it and shooting vertically.
Which is what I do when I do my stories for videos.
A lot of some of the advertising work that I've done for VaynerMedia, they shoot vertical.
Okay.
When they know that they're going to do that. Or you can also shoot two cameras that are right next to each other, so it's the same perspective. One of them's vertical and one of them's landscape.
Right.
So yes.
Yeah, it's happening.
Yeah, it's happening, unfortunately. But I mean, the best is when you get those get those questions that are like, or from a prospective client that's like, hey, can you shoot this with one camera and know that we want it to be vertical?
Yeah.
And we also want it to be on our website. So then they need to figure out which one's more important, because you're not going to shoot a vertical video for a website and then stretch it.
Right.
So there'll be negative space on both sides, but that's okay.
Right. You kind of have to do two things.
Right.
Like shoot it one way, and then like what I do with the vlog, I shoot it this way, and then when I shoot my promo, I turn it and I shoot it vertically.
Right.
And do you also like how he dropped VaynerMedia, which is Gary Vaynerchuk's company? Which Gary, I mean, you're the best. I love him. Have you seen him?
I saw him. I don't think he saw me. They were shooting the Planet of the Apps.
Oh, that's right.
Around the office.
And that's right, because I was like, tell him I love him, and he was I absolutely am not going to tell Gary Vaynerchuk. But Gary, I know you're watching. I love you. He loves you. And we'll meet one day. Okay, moving on.
Next.
Zip it. Okay, so you have worked with some pretty incredible people, athletes, celebrities. You've also worked some incredible jobs. What is the biggest lesson you've learned through your so far, how many years so far now have you been doing this?
Just two.
Just two, What is the biggest lesson that you've learned that you can pass on?
I think we talked about it a little bit with being ready for anything. Getting your hands on equipment. If you want to be a shooter, get your hands on a camera. If you want to be an editor, jump in the bay.
Yeah.
But what I've learned from the celebrities and athletes and everything is they focus in on the one thing that they know they're going to do great, Gary V, and that's their only focus. They don't go drifting off into other worlds.
Yeah.
So that said, if you want to be what was the word? Not predator, but
shredditor.
If you want to be a shredditor,
Hashtag.
focus on just those things. If you want to be an editor, just edit. Don't need to go out and do other things.
Yeah.
Sometimes now it's hard for me to get a gig not editing, because that's where my bread is buttered. And I don't want to be sitting in that chair all the time, because it's not the best of lifestyles.
Right.
But luckily I'm a shredditor, so I can get out every once in a while.
That's great advice. And also another thing I want to talk about is the being on set and an attitude that you have to kind of have on set. How do you keep a positive set? Because I know sometimes there can always be that one person, you know, that's having like a bad day and they try and bring down everyone's energy. How do you, when you're directing, how do you keep a positive set?
Well, first and foremost, it's awesome to have your job be that you're directing video content, and content is stuff that I love. I don't do a lot of the stuff that you do because it's not my passion, but it's your passion.
Yeah.
So when I'm out there, it's stuff that I love. It's people that I love working with, and you're not doing brain surgery. You're producing content. I think of that every day, and I try to...
He tells me that every day when I'm stressed.
Yeah, it's fun stuff that's entertainment for people.
Yeah.
It shouldn't be a stress. If it is, you're in the wrong field. Yes, there will be stressful moments, but deal with them. So that's how I do it, is whenever stuff starts to go really bad, you just got to pick everybody else up around you. They'll pick you up. Yeah. Just like a team thing.
Babe, I'm so proud of you. These are all things that I actually haven't heard him say. I'm really proud of you. You've grown up quite nicely. Guess what?
Next.
We finished another card, and guess what part this is?
Watch out for Homer.
This is speed round.
Ooh, okay.
Are you ready? Guys, I came up with this on the fly. Bada boom, let's hit it. How do you stay creative?
Challenge yourself.
What do you do when you're stuck?
I don't think I've ever been stuck. Try a different shortcut key when you're editing.
What do you do when you feel burnt out?
Sleep. Have a beer and then go to sleep.
True. What is your biggest tip for keeping positivity on set?
I think we kind of talked about that one.
We did.
Smile.
Okay.
Laugh.
What's your biggest...
Have good people on set with you.
What's your biggest tip for staying healthy when working crazy hours? This is a big
one. Oh, that's
one.
a tough one. I try to get up an hour and a half before I know I have to leave to go to a shoot or an edit or something and go for a run. Just even if it's a quick one, that way you can come home, you can unwind, you can stretch a little bit. Sometimes if you're in a bay, I remember, I don't do it anymore, but I remember back in the day during renders, it'd be let's do 10 push-ups during a render, you know? So
really?
You could do things like that. I did. Shout out to Lamont Smith.
I don't know who that is, guys. This is all new.
It was the AT&T Blue Room.
Okay.
Tupelo Honey Productions.
What advice would you give your young self? Oh, this is a big one.
My young self.
Your young baseball card hoarding self.
You're gonna meet this beautiful girl in high school, and you should marry her.
Who, me? What advice would you give someone starting out in this business?
If you love it, just keep following your path. You'll find a groove of what you like to do. You don't have to start off thinking that you're going to be the world's best director, and you're getting a cup of coffee for me and be thinking that you're better than the job and everything. Just learn what you can. I always like to, when I'm on set, if I have a PA that I need to go do some kind of grunt work, move the cars, do this or that, I like to make myself teach them one thing for each one of those things.
That's really good.
So if you're that person who has to go move the car, go learn something from it too. Don't just come back and go sit on your phone in the corner. Go sit next to the director and figure out what's going on. Get on surveillance so that you can hear what's going on.
Yeah. And that's really good advice. And also work for free. If you're starting out and someone offers you a job working on set, but it's free, they can't pay you, who cares? Work for free, because that education that you're getting on that set is priceless. And we did that for many years. I mean, we were PAs forever. And it really pays off, and you just have to be a sponge. If you love this, then be a sponge, learn everywhere you can, learn on videos, be on set, be as close to a camera as possible. And
it's all about who you know in this small industry.
Yeah,
and
you never know who you're gonna
meet somebody on set that knows you're doing it for free, and they'll throw you $100 next time, and you're gonna be stoked on it.
Yeah, totally.
Do
Babe,
it.
Guess what? Last card. Boom.
Boom. Can we snap?
Did it. We can snap it. Wait, let's do an outro. First of all, thank you so much for being here, Jake Loskutoff.
Yay.
Uh-oh.
That's inappropriate. Another tip, when you're on set, make sure everybody turns their phones off.
That's totally my fault. Anyways, ladies and gentlemen, thank you so much for joining us. This was our first interview. I hope you guys liked it. And please leave comments below if you have any questions for Jake. He'll also be sometimes guest blogging for us, so keep an eye out for that. And subscribe.
At Jake Loskutoff.
At Jake Loskutoff, yes. I'll put that down below. And I think that's it. Oh, guys, I'll see you Tuesday.